Oh man, that Avatar Aang trailer looks so good. I cannot wait to watch this movie for the very first time. Okay, before anything else, this video is 100% spoiler free. Everything I'm about to discuss comes from two places: the official trailer Paramount dropped today, and the creator's own words in the first interview about the film. That's it. If you kept yourself clean these past 3 months, and I know some of you have been dodging spoilers like Aang dodges a fight, you are safe here. That's a promise, and it's the rule for this whole channel until July 25th. So here's what officially happened today. The first full trailer for Avatar Aang: The Last Airbender dropped. And buried in it was the confirmation of a rumor that's been floating around. The movie is no longer coming out in October. It premieres globally on Paramount Plus on Saturday, July 25th. That is 2 weeks and some change from today. Let me put that into perspective. This is the very first ever project from Avatar Studios, a feature film 5 years in the making, the return of Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko after nearly 2 decades, and it's getting a marketing runway shorter than most YouTube videos get in the editing bay. And where it's landing is troubling because it's going to be on Paramount Plus, which is like not even top 3 of the streamers today. You know, you've got like Netflix ahead of it, Prime Video, Disney Plus, HBO Max. It's not the best place to put this, and I don't know if most Avatar fans will be able to see it here. And to add one more layer of this chaos, Paramount is in the middle of trying to merge with Warner Brothers. This movie is releasing into a company that's actively mid-transformation, so who knows, maybe at one point this will be on HBO Max. I don't know how this is going to work. But the pessimist read on this writes itself. This movie gets a 48-hour news cycle. The algorithm moves on, and one of the most anticipated animated films of the decade quietly becomes a menu tile. But here's the thing, I don't think that's the whole story. And to explain why, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Still, no spoilers, but we are going to talk about the elephant in the room. You know what happened, I know what happened in April. I'm not going to relitigate it. The entire 90-minute film leaked online, no watermark, nothing. And a quick refresher, if you missed my earlier coverage, there has been movement on that front. A 26-year-old man in Singapore was arrested in connection with the leak, according to the Straits Times. So this wasn't some victimless internet hiccup. There are real legal consequences playing out right now. And we still haven't had updates about what's going on with that 26-year-old, just that, they've been arrested, and that's all we know so far. So here is my honest, realist take on the release strategy. Does it suck that this movie gets 2 weeks of marketing on the 5th place streamer? Yes, absolutely. This film was designed for theaters, and we'll get that sort of. Because it was announced today on Entertainment Weekly that they will have a special screening at San Diego Comic-Con one day before it drops on the streamer. But that's pretty much it. It will not be in any major movie theater, not even a limited release, which I think is something that they should have done. Just give it a little limited release in Los Angeles, New York, Seattle, the big cities. And then maybe, when you see that it makes money, then you can expand it. But, that's too much ask for Paramount right now. But let's be real, the campaign for this movie died in April. A slow burn, 6-month marketing rollout only works when the audience doesn't know what's coming. The surprise value, the mystery box energy, the what's this deal with this new airbender person, that speculation cycle, that one's over, it's done with. A huge chunk of the online fandom already knows the answers. The more Paramount waited, the more the leak had time to seep into the zeitgeist. More spoilers in comment sections, more reaction content, more of the audience deciding that they did not need to watch it again. So you convert San Diego Comic-Con into a free, massive marketing event, and you close the gap between the trailer hype and the you can watch it to 14 days. And here's the wrinkle that I think a lot of us extremely online fans forget. Casual viewers have no idea that any of this happened. My own parents don't know that there was a leak. For the majority of the eventual audience, July 25th will simply be the day that a new Avatar movie is going to appear. The leak discourse is a bubble, not the entire world. So both things are true. The rollout is a symptom of a bad situation, and it's probably the smartest response to that bad situation. You can be mad at the circumstances and still recognize the logic. And if you want to know how the people who actually made this thing feel about it, today we finally found out. Alongside the trailer, Entertainment Weekly published the first interview about the film with Mike DiMartino, Brian Konietzko, and director Lauren Montgomery, and there is a lot in here. Again, all spoiler-free and all from the creators' own mouths. So on the leak, for the first time, we heard it how it hit them, and they've actually acknowledged it for the first time. So Montgomery described it as devastating. DiMartino called it a dark day and talked about the disappointment and frustration of having something stolen after years of work. Konietzko put it in the most Konietzko way possible, that they had just adapted to losing their theatrical release, were trying to make the best of the streaming shift, and then the film got stolen on top of it. Just brutal things stacked on brutal timing. But the tone of the interview is actually hopeful. DiMartino says the excitement is back now that the film is officially coming out, and Montgomery's take was essentially that we can't control what happened to us, but we made a movie we love and we will let it speak for itself. And DiMartino even joked that they finally made it to Hall H, it's just that the film had to get stolen first for them to get there. If the creators can laugh about it, I think that we can too. So Konietzko has coined a term that I love. It's called a C prequel. It's simultaneously a sequel to The Last Airbender and a prequel to Korra, set about 10 years after the war during the founding of Republic City. Aang is around 25 now, and the creators describe him as physically grown but not yet an adult that the Avatar needs to become, and also they call him hot, which is weird, I think. The emotional engine of the film is his unresolved survivor's guilt from the Air Nomad genocide, trauma the original series touched on, but a kids show can only go so far. And the setup is pretty nice. Aang discovers Sokka frozen in ice on a mountaintop, the exact mirror of how Katara and Sokka found him. Two soul survivors of the same culture from completely different eras with completely different ideas of what being an airbender means. DiMartino confirms that Sokka is deliberately mysterious and, quote, not entirely benevolent. That's all public, that's all I'll say, and that premise alone tells you this is aiming higher than a nostalgia victory lap. And they also discussed the animation quite a bit. Early in development, there was an assumption, and even internally, that the feature film meant going CG, because every movie is CG now. Mike and Brian pushed back on that pretty hard though. Konietzko said Avatar's soul lives in hand-drawn art. It started as a love letter to Japanese anime, and that's the legacy. And looking at the trailer, you definitely can see that Japanese anime influence, to the point where I am going to do a little bit of pushback that I think it's gone too far into the lane of anime. I always like the fact that the original show was a mix between Western animation and anime, and here it just kind of just feels like regular anime. Granted, it is entirely beautiful, but in terms of styling, I do wish we were a little bit more westernized and we had more of that hybrid thing going on. And this is easily going to be the most beautiful straight to streaming movie that we're ever going to get, because even just looking at these trailer images, this is the most gorgeous that Avatar has ever looked, period. Oh, quick shameless plug. If a story about keeping a culture's magic alive speaks to you, my book series, T.J. Young and the Orishas, follows a kid discovering the hidden world of West African gods and mythology. Percy Jackson energy, Orisha power, link in the description below. So let me land this plane. Did you catch how this trailer ends? No release date bombast, no logo slam. It ends with a message to the fans, thanking us for our dedication and our passion, and signing off with 4 words. This is for you. Now, you could read that cynically, marketing copy for a studio that pulled the theatrical release, but given everything in that EW interview, I read it as a very sincere, very earnest message. The team lost their theater. They even lost their premiere to a hacker. What they have left is us. Konietzko said it plainly in the interview. The Aang movie was just one of a whole slate, and he's already working on another project he says they'll announce when the time is right. Seven Havens is coming in 2027. Whether any of that slate survives depends on one metric: how many people watch this movie on Paramount Plus between July 25th and the end of that opening window. Now, I know some of you have said that you won't support Paramount in any form after how this movie was treated, and honestly, I think that's pretty fair. It's a principled position. I'm not here to tell you your principles are wrong, but I am here to tell you that the realest consequence, streaming numbers are the only vote that gets counted. If this movie underperforms, the studio doesn't conclude we should have given it to theaters. It concludes Avatar doesn't sell. That's how this industry works, as unfair as it is. So my plan, July 25th, I'm watching it officially day 1. If you can, make it an event. Watch it with your friends, recreate that theater experience in your home. DiMartino himself said he hopes people build a community experience around it, so let's be the community that does. And that's it. Let me know what you guys thought about the new trailer, what you think about, all the circumstances around this very unique situation in the Avatar franchise. Personally, I am still very excited for what's to come for Avatar Studios, especially after the fighting game that just happened with the beta this last weekend and everything else. But, of course, I want to hear from you guys. And as always, peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.